Hey, I see we already have some people here, and there's a question about Chapter 1 homework due tomorrow. And so, Chapter 1 homework goes over, I'll put it right here. I've got a Word document open. So, Chapter 1 homework, really great question to start out, goes over how to do quantitative and categorical variables. So, we have quantitative and categorical. So, the two types of variables we mainly cover, we also have identifiers, but it is due tomorrow night, and we've covered the topics so far on it. So, hopefully, that answers it right here. And we have quantitative categorical variables, big topic right here. I might just write it out, but chapter 1 homework, this is for 201. I should definitely make reference to that. This is know the difference between quantitative and categorical variables. So stat 201, let's put here, know the difference between quantitative and categorical variables. And I could probably open up the assignment right here. Keep asking questions. This is office hours. We're here to just take questions and talk about what's going on. This is the assignment that you have on Canvas. Someone up over to Canvas right now. Let me open up the assignment and show what it looks like. So feel free, can't speak today. Feel free to keep asking questions. And let's see, we are logging in as we do this right here. And I'll probably do assignment 1, homework 1, quiz 1. It's a pretty easy assignment, but start on it early. Always try to start maybe a day early on these things. Don't worry. We still have a day that we can get started on these things. And let's hop over here. How's everyone doing? I don't know how many people we have watching right now. I can see over here. Let me see. Oh, it doesn't show me. I have to click right here. We have 4 people watching. That's all right. If you have questions, feel free to ask. So let me pull up chapter 1 quiz. And so if you're looking, chapter 1 quiz is going to be right here. You can see it down here on the due dates where chapter 1 quiz is at. And let's go ahead and give chapter 1 quiz a try. Now, it might say that I've already attempted it right here. I can redo the quiz if it loads. There we go. And I can start the test. I've already probably taken it a few times. It's due by tomorrow night. And let's start this right here. Now, probably gonna be better if I go over here to the main screen. Let's do that. There we go. And let's see. I think it's good enough that everyone can see. Tell me if it's too small, too large. We'll get it worked out. With this right here, the first question on chapter 1 quiz is a student's weekly budget is a blank variable. Now, the big thing that we should know is that we have 3 types of variables. We have quantitative, categorical, and identifier. And then when you read this, it says a student's food budget. So you want to ask yourself the question of what is someone's food budget? Is that quantitative, categorical, identifier? Probably the best way to identify it is to ask someone the question, how much money do you spend on food? And when you say how much, that makes it quantitative. So that should be a quantitative variable. We won't know until we submit the quiz. Next, we see that we have someone's going to give us what they support for taxes, whether they suppose or oppose lower taxes, support or oppose lower taxes. And we have here support or oppose. And with this right here, we want to know if it's a categorical, quantitative, or not a variable. So let's think about this. When you ask somebody, do you support or do you oppose this? Would that be a quantitative, like an actual real number? Or would that put them into a group? Or would it identify them, which is not part of this one? It definitely doesn't identify them because that's not a choice right here. But support or oppose is not a quantity. So since it's not a quantity, it's a category. It's whether you support or oppose this. Next, we have right here, we have conservative, moderate, liberal, other, no response. Is this a quantity of someone's political view? Nope. Since it's not a quantity, it's a category. And just think about what categorical variables mean. It means we put people into categories. So that's going to be a categorical variable right here. Next, we have a student's weekly food budget. It repeated the question. There's not too many of these, and it was really hard to make a quiz out of this. That was 5 questions, but definitely quantitative again, because how much money did they spend, and the state that a respondent lived in. So if someone says to you, would they say, how much is your state, or what is your state? It's kind of a good way to figure out if it's quantitative or categorical right here, is to see if it's how much or what, like what group are you in, or how much is this? And since this is a what group are you in, it's categorical. Hopefully I didn't make an error. Sometimes I make one, but I don't think I did on this one. And so what do we see? 100, we've done it. And so basically one of the big bits of advice that I want to give people is that, especially the earlier quizzes, some of them can be a little tricky, but usually they're a little bit quicker. So start on these quizzes early. And this first one right here took 2 minutes and 20 seconds. We talked through it. We reviewed the concepts. We know that we need to know the difference between quantitative, categorical, and identifier variables. Variables are at the heart of what we do in statistics. You can actually see this in the JUMP data sets we use, like the Apple Store ID one right here, where we have the different variable types. I might start talking about 320 here in a second. Whatever class you're in, feel free to ask questions. Thank you for the question just a moment ago. But if you're here, feel free to ask your statistics questions. Feel free to ask questions about the assignments or your stats related questions. What you'll notice right here is that JUMP tries to clue you in on these variable types. So if you're using JUMP for our class, it helps kind of understand what the program is doing. We have right here the key. Now, although the key is blue, is there any way I can change it so it's not character, row, all this good stuff? I'm going to the secret things inside of JUMP right here. And we have ordinal and nominal, which are types of categorical variables. We haven't really mentioned that much in our class, but an ordinal is like stake preference from like rare to well done. That would be an ordinal variable. Think how it has order to it. And a nominal variable would be something like the state you're born in, because there's no order to that. There's no like, oh, North Carolina comes before Virginia or California or Texas. That's a nominal variable. So ordinal and nominal are types of categorical variables. Continuous just means it's a numeric continuous response, and then we can pick things with inside of here, but this is more like very specific stuff. Do not worry. At this point, you should only know that we have quantitative, categorical data, and we have identifiers. With this key right here, this key is an identifier because it's unique for every single observation here. All of these are unique observations, and what's interesting is Apple Store ID is also an identifier. So both of these are identifiers because they're unique for every single observation. You wouldn't say, how much is your key? You'd say, what is your key? Now that makes it sound categorical, but it kind of is categorical, but it's a category of one. So hopefully this doesn't confuse anybody, but an identifier is a special type of categorical variable. It's a categorical variable where everything is in its own unique group. And think about what identifiers do. They identify. So you can figure out which app we're talking about by the key. You could say app number 4, or you could say the Apple Store ID. Both of these would identify it because they will not repeat. That's what an identifier is. It is also a categorical variable, but we don't think of it as categorical. We think of it as an identifier because it identifies things, will not repeat. We see that the blue right here, it looks like it's quantitative, but it's not really. Now the red right here definitely means that this is categorical. So this is app name, and we could have repeats. I mentioned this in the video for this assignment, is that we might have maybe multiple Sudoku apps. You never know. Maybe more. I think I saw a Pac-Man app. Maybe there it is, Miss Pac-Man. So there might be repeat app names. So how would we figure out which app is which? Well, there's an Apple Store ID, so it doesn't matter if this repeats. We've got the file size. Is this quantitative? You bet. There's the blue right there in JUMP showing us it's quantitative. And when we think about this, it's how much is this file size? And another way to check to see if something's quantitative is you can actually do mathematics on it, where you could say that this file is 60 megabytes less than this file. So these apps right here have a megabyte difference of 60. Last but not least, we have category. And when it comes to the category right here, we can say that this puts it into categories. So the category is a categorical variable. And these are all different app stores, or all different apps on the App Store. 2,250 apps. But if you have a question, if you're watching right now, feel free to ask your question in the chat. We've got some people watching, but if you have a question, feel free to ask. This is office hours. Just ask your question. Say, hey, Brian, I'm working on JUMP. I'm working on R. I'm working on the visualization. I can't get JUMP installed. Feel free to ask. I'm going to see if people put anything in the Discord, but feel free to ask. There are a few questions I had via email regarding R. So let me kind of mention those because I try to answer maybe some email type questions here, and hopefully people can use this video as a reference. So some of the questions I've gotten right now are, how do we add a new variable to a data frame? So, well, let's talk about first what a data frame is. And so this is more related to, let me put a note right here. I can put a mark in the video. There's a new thing I noticed. I'm going to try something. I'm going to try putting in a marker in the video. I have no idea what that does. We'll check that out later. So when it comes to data frames inside of R, it's basically like an Excel spreadsheet. Let's take a look at the survey. Let's go here. And we need to first do this. If you're following along, this is 320, 474 type work. We're going to install reg class. Now I don't need to run this. Run this if you've never installed reg class. So if you've never installed reg class, you have to run this. I'm not going to do it because I've already installed it. It'll install reg class from the CRAN server, reg class standing for regression class. And then we're going to go here and we're going to type library reg class. We're going to let the autocomplete do the work too. So the autocomplete right here is going to load up reg class. And now here's what's very important. To run this, click Control Enter on a PC, or, oh, got a question. Command Enter on a Mac. So this is right here, and we have a question right here. Oh my God, I saw this subscription. Oh, you're so welcome. Hey, it's Jay. That's awesome, dude. So glad you got an A, man. Glad to see you here. Feel free to join at any time. Do you want to see the secret thing for today, Jay? You can tell me what you think about it. Jay, you get to see a secret thing for this. Are you ready, Jay? If you're in the chat, you ready to see this? I want to see someone get excited about this. You can tell me what you think about it. I won't be able to hear it, which is sad. Okay, here we go. So for 201 today, they're going to cover variable types. So I made this for them today. So I made this over the weekend. Let's see if it plays. Yeah, so there we go.
Know your variable types.
So know your variable types, because we're going to be reviewing variable types. And I lowered the volume on a little bit. Sorry if it was a little loud there. You could be like, Brian, it was too loud. What do you think of that, Jay? I mean, I don't know. I get bored. You love it? That's awesome, man. Yeah, so I've got that. Here's the new volume. We're just doing a volume check right here. From the green, from the yellow.
Know your variable types.
Hey, what's up, Alan? We're doing some 320 work right here. You're in 320, right, Alan? And I was showing off the new thing for that I made this weekend. Jason helped me make it. So I'm talking about some 320 right now. This is the time. I mean, you can ask any question at any time. You're struggling. What are you struggling on? What are you struggling on? Which question? What are you trying to do? Be like, hey, Brian, how do I do this? How do I use this function? How do I do anything? You just ask. We'll get it done. Make a sequence. Use a data frame. What is a data frame? We're going to talk about that a little bit here. I'm here for another 48 minutes. We can do this. And I'll be teaching my online class. It's so good seeing you, Jay. Thank you for stopping by. Oh, I need to run the chat bot. Let me do it over here. Sure. Scream it black. So hopefully it's working and all. I need to load the chat bot beforehand. Ask your questions. Is chatbot here now? Okay, I think it's working. Which questions do you have, Alan? Feel free to ask. And I think I can't see points. Alan, try to look at your points real quick. See if chatbot can talk to you. Like, do the exclamation mark points. You have a question 1 here. Let me answer this question 2. Okay, we'll see if chatbot's working. We have a new chatbot. Yes. There's a new chatbot called Mewtwo, Alan. And you can do... Oh, and Streamlabs is here. Streamlabs and Mewtwo are fighting. It's a battle between Streamlabs and Mewtwo. So since we have the unlisted streams, oh my gosh. Okay. We have two bots in the chat now. It's gonna be pretty crazy, but Mewtwo's for unlisted streams. Question 1, it states to translate into R syntax, but put the question as a bunch of equations that seem to be in R syntax already. Oh, great question. Okay, so good. Perfect. You ready for this, Alan? Let's hop into it. So good to have you here, Hannah. And sorry, we've got 2 bots fighting each other. You know what I can do? 2 seconds. I'm going to turn off the cloud bot, and that'll fix double bots. So let's do this right here. We have CloudBot has been removed from the chat. It shouldn't be existing anymore. Sorry. We will fix that, Hannah. So you should be getting equal points from Mewtwo also. So sorry for the confusion right here. I'll have to explain this. But since we're going to do more unlisted streams, I had to make a new bot. Does that make sense there? That this is a brand new bot, and it also records points in what should be a similar way. But we can also do betting. Like, so I should be able to change your points too. But I can go over here and actually have us do betting now. Like I can do this. Okay. So here, bet a singular point on this. Betting on true or false. And so go ahead and you can see how the betting works. And we're going to answer the question right here. And so you can enter in the same way as doing before you do exclamation mark bet. And you'll do like that. I don't think I can actually bet on it, but you'll do that right there. And you can actually place bets on it. And then I can pick the winner and you actually get the points back from it. And then, oh, you do how many points you want. So this is how it'll work right here, Alan, like this. So that's how it works right there, Alan. And hopefully, so you have to do bet, what you want to bet, and then how many points you want to bet. So I think you have to allocate the points. And this should all work now. So give it a try on betting, and you have to put the points you want. If you notice right there, and then I'm going to answer Alan's question. So we'll get serious here in a moment. It's our tiny bit of fun right here. So Alan's bet a point, Hannah's bet a point, and is this not the right syntax for it? It's not showing the bets. Betting has started. You can enter, type, exclamation mark, bet, ID, amount. Well, bot. You bet. I will call you when office hours are over. Let's do that. So I don't know why it wasn't taking the bets. We'll worry about that, but it should have taken the bets. Let's start talking about the question here that Alan had, and I will figure out how to get the betting to work. Sorry, it's a new bot that I was working on this weekend. With this right here, Mewtwo, you got to take those bets. We've had a lot of issues with bots. It's one of these days when the robots take over the world. It won't be good. We have to watch out. Let's hop here to 320. We're going to load up the 320 assignment. And with the 320 assignment right here, let's download it. So I'm going to show this right here. Here's the 320 assignment. So if you're working away right now, the 320 assignment is right here. We're going to download this file right here, which is the data file. And what is a data file? This is a very important thing to know. A data file is basically, think about this. It's like the information for a video game. And so you can have everything you need with an RMD, but then the data file gets you additional stuff. So the RMD is kind of a workspace. Let's go ahead and open up this RMD right here. And then we have here that we have to load in the data file. We'll do that later on, but that will load in stuff like over here. So everyone, what is the data file? It can load in all of this data over here. So with you see all these different data sets right here, these are all loaded in via sometimes a data file for R. So a data file can load in data frames, it can load in functions, all that good stuff. But Alan asks a big question right here. How do we get, and I've already got a student ID right here. Make sure to enter in your student ID. So I'm gonna go ahead and enter in my student ID. Please enter in your one. That's not my student ID, but we'll enter it right there. Load in this, I don't think. Oh, I can load it in. That's awesome. Cool, I'm in the right working directory. And then we have right here, here's my student ID. Make sure to keep your student ID separate and load in your student ID. Now we're gonna get down to the big questions right here. So Alan, were you wondering about this right here? So yeah, I think we are going to do something. Prepared. There we go. Alan, if you hop over to our other way of talking, let's do that. If you hop over, other, let me do this right here. But go ahead, I'm going to go over how to do this right here. There we go. Hey, Alan, hop over. Let me do this real quick. There we go. So much craziness. But let's talk about this right here. with this, we have the following code, and let's go ahead and decode the code. So one thing you'll notice right here is I do have an error going on. That's because we have a 4 entered in right here. And let's take a look. So Alan, what you noticed is we have right here this. So you were saying how this is already kind of written out for you in code. So if you notice how it's already kind of written out for you, but it's 5 times the quantity, 2 plus the square root of 3. 2 plus the square root of 3. Now with this right here, we can actually do it right here. Let's go ahead and solve this in the following spot. Let's go right here. And let's take it right here. Now this will not actually solve. This is where I think a lot of people get confused, is because this will not actually solve right here. Since it won't solve, we're going to go ahead and take and actually just remove this. Now we're really lucky with this one because it almost solves. There's just one problem. And the one problem is this right here. Now let's go over why this works and why this doesn't work. Well, we have one last problem. It's always a little tiny thing right here. What you'll notice is it doesn't like this spot. And what we need to do is add in a star. Now let me explain the issues. Let's go back from the beginning where it worked and where it doesn't work. I think Alan has messaged me. So Alan, you can see what I'm typing to you right there. Awesome. So with this right here, you'll notice, Alan, that look at the difference between this. And let me explain the differences right here. The differences in what we have is the following. This is not our code. What I'm hovering over right here is not our code. This is LaTeX writing. So LaTeX is a way kind of people do scientific writing. So this LaTeX writing right here is not our code, but it does show the expression. Does that make sense? You can message me right here. Does that make sense, Alan? That this right here is LaTeX writing. I agree with you, Alan. So this is the LaTeX writing, and right here we have that it doesn't work as our code. So this does not work as our code right here. But I've gone ahead and solved it down here where it does work as our code. It works as our code right here because this is actually set up properly. So with this set up properly to run, let's look at some key differences. So let's start from the very beginning, because this is kind of some big things we'll start covering especially, is to multiply two things together, you cannot just put them side by side like this. That will not work. This parentheses right here treats it like it's a function. So this parentheses right here is saying 5 is a function, and that just doesn't work. So when you use 5 as a function, it gets really confused, and it's like, this just does not work. So what do we need to do? We just need to put a star between it, and that'll multiply 5 times 5. So one of the key errors people make when working on this, and don't write down everything I write, I'm explaining how it works. So if you're watching this right now and trying to write everything down, don't put all this into your assignment. Don't do that, because this right here creates an error. This right here runs properly. So this key difference you should notice right here, and Alan, what do you think, Alan? Right here, awesome, makes sense. Okay, so we notice this right here, how this works and doesn't work. This one creates an error. This one runs properly. Kind of a big but small but big thing. Very small but very big thing at the same time. So with this right here, we notice that we put the star between it to multiply the two things, and that fixed it. But this backslash right here is kind of like HTML code. If anyone's done HTML code before, we put in things like a backslash, and it kind of calls a function or ends a function. It all depends. I don't code in HTML that much. But we won't use backslash square root and then curly brackets. I call them curly brackets right there. But we won't use those. We will actually use the square root function. Now here's a really big thing to know in R, so keep paying attention right here. Square root is a function that square roots something for you. So functions use the parentheses like this. So whatever goes inside this will be the arguments. So here we are. We have functions use the parentheses. Whatever goes inside the parentheses will be the arguments. So when we think about this right here, and feel free to reply to me. You guys know where to talk to me. We have right here that this is the square root of 4. So square root is the function, and 4 is the argument. So we're going to take the square root of something. What are we taking the square root of? We're taking the square root of 4. So this right here is a function that takes the square root of 4. And that kind of does it. Just with these small little changes right here, we get to fix it. And we're no longer using the LaTeX writing right here. And then we've added in the star, which gets everything fixed up. So Alan messaged me, and what do you think about all of this right here? Let's see here. We might just do the chats via the other method, Alan. If you can hear me, we might just do all chat via that method. This might what we do. I'll let you message me, Alan. I'm not talking about some other ones here, but that was kind of my backup plan. Say let's do, because we can like edit these videos afterwards. I mean, we can like, I can put the timestamps, which I really like, because I'd upload things afterwards anyways. But I'll let you, Alan. What do you say, Alan? Yeah, it could work. It could work, because I can see that pretty quickly too. I might just put that over to the side. Sounds like a possibility. Awesome stuff. And we will continue on. Let's take a look at the next thing right here. We've got this one right here. This one looks even crazier. So here's how I suggest doing this. I mean, this one is absolute insanity. But think about what the easiest parts of this are to write. We have -6 plus 6.6 times 3 times 3.3. So that's not too crazy. Frankly, I wouldn't even copy this. I was about to, but I wouldn't do that. We also have 2 minus 2 times 8. So I'm going to write that out. I'm going to write 2 minus 2 times 8. And that's -14. 2 minus 2 times 8, just written as it is. Once again, let's look at it right here. 2 minus 2 times 8, just as it is. Then we have -6 plus 6.6 times 3.3. So let's try to keep that in our head. So -6 times 3.3. I think I already made a mistake. -6 plus 6.6 times, there we go, plus 6.6 times 3.3. There we go. So with this right here, -6 plus 6.6 times 3.3. Perfect. And now, does it have a negative before it also? It's negative that. So if you notice, I've written out everything here in the exponents, but this is where people also make mistakes. So if you're watching here and you're wondering, how do you get E? Let's talk about how to get E right here. E is just EXP, like this. So E is EXP. And with EXP right here, this is simply right here going to give us E, 2.71828182845904523. Good old number right there. Is that Euler's number? I think it might be. So with this right here, we have E, and then what do we need to do with it? Let's look at it again. We need to take and raise it to what we wrote right there. And whatever we put is what it'll be raised to inside of that parentheses. So E is actually a function. This EXP, I should say rather, is a function. And if we take this inside of it right here, this becomes the argument. This is the argument by which we are raising E to. So we've just taken and risen E to that number. So we've taken E and risen it to that number, and then we have to do a parentheses. I think Alan has another question. So we're going to do times it, 3 plus, and then we go right here, this right here. And we need to take this and go EXP and do that. And I think that's got it. Not to give away too many answers today, but I think that's got it. Please someone tell me if I'm wrong on these. Someone be like, Brian, you do not know how to solve mathematics today. And I'll be like, it's one of those days sometimes. I think Alan's got some more questions right here. Should we... we'll figure it out, yeah. Yeah, I think that might be a decent idea. I think you've got an idea there, Alan, but I've got the ways now. Continuing on right here, let's take a look at question C. Question C, it's getting more complicated, isn't it? Look at this. Oh my gosh. When you think about this right here, what would be the easiest thing to write out for this? The easiest thing to write out is going to be maybe this 2 plus 2 raised to the third power, which we can kind of think. That's going to be 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. So that's going to be 10 on the bottom. That's 1/10. We could almost just write 1/10, but we got to write it out. So we can solve it and make sure we get it. Let's do a parentheses right here and do 2 plus 2 raised to the third power. Is that 1/10? That is 1/10. So kind of solving this right here, and if you click on the last part of it, it'll show up as a picture for you. So clicking on that last part kind of shows us what we have going on right here. And yeah, and Alan, if you want to put that channel there, we can do that. And so with this right here, we need to raise it to the fourth power now. So let's go ahead and raise it to the fourth power. Just going to make it a really small decimal. So that's raised to the fourth power now. We're good on raising that to the fourth power. And now, let's see right here, 4 plus that, well, that's a small decimal. So 4 plus that. 4 plus this. This is a big help video right now showing how to do these first few things right here. There it is right there, 4 plus that. And now we see that we take the log 10 of it. That's not too bad. And we do 1 plus, we do square root. If I want to point something out if you're watching this right now, here's the biggest thing. Working these from the inside out. Working these from the inside out is really what we're trying to do. We're trying to kind of start with the inside of it and then build it as we go. So we can take the log 10 of this right now and just go here and go log 10, and we've accomplished that goal. So now this is log 10. Log 10 is saying, what would you raise to the 10th power to get this? And so it's a number smaller than 1 because 10 raised to the first power would be 10. And so you could check this, but this is the log 10, as in if you raise 10 to that power, you get 1.00001. So with this right here, let's go ahead and take a look. What's Alan saying? So our studio falls. I don't know what that oh, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. There's so, you know what's so funny, Alan? I guess it does, right? I always forget, like, if you don't do basic math, you start to forget like those little acronyms and stuff. And I'm like, what does that stand for again? And I was like having to think through it all. I have to keep like going back up. Now I want to point something out. You might be wondering what I'm doing right here. And this is a trick. The trick that I'm about to do is I'm about to hold shift and then 9. And that does a parentheses around it. So anytime you have something clicked, like if you have a word clicked, you can double click it and you can do parentheses, or that's quotes. You can do parentheses. You can do quotes, you can do brackets if you highlight it and then do the first word around it. So you can do all of these different things right here, really easy. You can do single quotes, but you just have to have it highlighted. So you'll notice I'll often highlight stuff like this right here, and then I'll do Shift 9, which will do an open parentheses around it. It's just a quicker way instead of having to click multiple sides, and then you can just select what you want, and we want to square root it. If you notice, there's the square root function, and I want us to take a look at this for a moment right here, because we're just learning how to do all this. This right here is x, which is the argument. And so think about it. What is x for me right now? X for me is all of this. Just so you can understand what's going on right here. This is x, but x does not exist in the environment, or I don't think it does. Oh, x was a vector already existing in my environment. I already had x stored. Now x is that. I didn't think x existed. So if you notice, I'm showing a few tricks right here. That when you use the square root function, the argument is, what do you want to square root? And with this right here, we have what we are square rooting being saved as x, and then we're taking the square root of x. Now you don't have to take the square root of x. You can just take the square root of y. It doesn't really matter. You can call it whatever you want, and if you notice, it's now being saved in the environment. So both of these are x and y right here. They're the same thing, and this is just kind of showing us how this works right here. So with this, we are going to take and kind of do it the way we want to do it right here. Let's go back and do that right there. And next but not least, let's take a look at the last part it wanted us to solve on this. This will be really good, like how to do this part. And then we got the square root, 1 plus. Oh, I did remember the 1 plus? I did. And then 1 plus that. So this should be the whole thing right here. So Alan, hopefully this helps out a lot. Alan, if you want, tell me how you're doing with this. But this should be the whole thing right here. This should be that whole part, and we'll do D right here to see how D is going. Let's take a look. Oh, we got this. It's 10 to the third power times this plus this. I know you guys got this one. I know you got it. We can almost take this right here and just fix it up. Now, once again, this is LaTeX writing. It will not solve unless we actually fix it a little bit, because this just kind of puts in the times symbol on it. But truthfully, I think we're one step away. We just highlight that, change it to this, run it, and we're good. That's pretty interesting. Oh, yeah, because it's going to shift this over 3 decimal places when you times it by 1,000. That's kind of obvious, but still kind of interesting. So kind of a neat little thing right there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's what you get by solving that equation right there because you're timesing this by 1,000. So once again, this is LaTeX writing, which displays functions for you. There's a lot of cool things you can do with this. And this is the actual R code right here. Now, some big things I want to point out is you'll notice that this is an R chunk. So the R chunks right here are going to allow us to use R code inside of them. And then this is where we can just do writing inside of R. Let's see, Alan, do you have additional questions? And feel free to message me, people, if you have questions. Let's see. There might be a 201 question I see. Let me see. 201. Where do we report? I put a link. So let me reply, and I'll reply also in the video. There is a link. It's link has been posted on the Canvas sidebar. So there we go right there. Whoa, whoa, that's interesting. There we go. I've added a tab in Canvas to add points. There we go. Awesome. So there's a new tab on Canvas now to add points. That is what we have. So hopefully they see that right there. And did I see something in the BAS 474? Awesome. Do you need to print? No, you don't need to print. Good question there, Alan. You do not need to print these. What's the next one? Say using sequence to write the answer. We can do that. We can do those. I think a lot of times it says print your answer, which is something I'll talk about today. You don't have to worry about actually printing them. It'll print for you. It will automatically put these answers right there and you will have it. So good questions right there. And let's see, additional questions people are asking. Let's see. It says, for the student ID, Alan has a question about the student ID. Keep asking questions. What's interesting, good question. So Alan's wondering about the student ID. Do you need to include the 000? So let's kind of point out some stuff right here about how randomness works inside of R. So I'm gonna do something amazing right here. I'm gonna predict a random number. So watch this. You ready? Let's go here and go to seed, and I can't remember my codes right now. Set seed. There we go. And let's go to 7787, and let's do sample the numbers 1 through 1000, and let's sample one number, 363, 184, and the next number is 626. Okay, so if I reset the seed right here, watch this. 363, 148 was it? Oh, I forgot. Oh, and then 626. Good, we're right. It's gonna be 626. I'm randomly guessing it's gonna be 626. It's a random number, but there we go right there. There's a random number. But wait, how did I know this? That'd be amazing if I got the next one, 528. Oh, I was off by 3 numbers. That was a complete guess. That would have been amazing, a 1 in 1,000 chance, but I was off by 3 numbers. So that would have been completely random. We got a randomness button. We gotta hit the randomness button. Oh, it's not the, oh, that's the rainbow button. We got the rainbow. There's our randomness button. We got a rainbow. We'll bring some happiness here. That's what we do in this class is we bring happiness. You got it right here. So with this, we have our random sample right here. But how was I able to predict these numbers? Well, if you notice right here, the seed controls the randomness. Have you ever played Minecraft? I don't know, Alan, maybe you have. But if you played Minecraft, you know what a seed is. In Minecraft, your seed controls the world that you get. So if you put in the same seed as I do, you'll get the same Minecraft world. So the Minecraft seed controls the randomness you get. So you will get a certain world. I thought so. Not to take a guess, but man, I love Minecraft too. So I have a whole, like, I don't know. Oh, one of my students set up a Minecraft server and I never joined it. I don't know. Life is busy. Things are busy, busy, busy. So with this right here, we've got the set seed, but now watch this. Let's give this a shot. You ready? Okay. Okay. 363, 148, 626, 531. Whoa. I knew them again. 281. Dang it. Oh, that'd been cool. Okay. So notice right here that I was able to tell you all the numbers up until the next one. It'll be scary if we keep playing this. And I don't know. Okay, we're done. Stop memorizing. But what we have right here is that the seed will give us the same numbers as we go through this. So did it matter that these zeros existed? Do these zeros at all, so Alan, if you want to reply, do these zeros change at all the seed right here, where I get 363, I should have said it first, 148, 626, 531, I swear I'm not cheating, 445. Okay, there we go. Just so you can see it again. Let's try it again. This is my fun for the day. 363. I'm not cheating. Okay, 363, 148, 626, 531. Oh, I didn't reset the seed. Oh, I wasn't even looking. I didn't reset the seed. So 363, 148, 626, 531 is the most amazing stream ever. And then 445, and then we have to guess. We actually have to guess now. 829. Way off. Anyways, notice how the zeros don't matter. I hope in this example we've kind of made the point that the zeros will not change the randomness. So it kind of takes off those zeros and only focuses on that number. So the answer is the zeros do not matter. That's the very short answer to it, and it kind of maybe shows you a little bit exactly. Alan says it does not change anything. Yeah. So Alan, I hope this made sense, that I'm able to tell you the numbers right here as we go through them. And I don't know, each time it's like a Mario Party game, but like a really bad one where it's just like memorize the numbers. It's like memorize the numbers, Toad says, or whatever. And then you're like, what kind of game is this? And it's kind of like a lot of Mario Party games. But so yes, you will get the same random numbers each time. So if we ask you to do something like this and you put the zeros, you're fine either way. So hopefully that helps a lot with that, Alan, kind of explaining what is going on right here. What additional questions are there? Ask questions if you've got them. So who else has questions? Let's see, Alan, what else are you thinking? What other questions are there? Let me see what else I can talk about with this time right here. Let's see. I might hop off early and send out call Dwight and them because I'm going to prepare for class and everything. But Alan, feel free to chat with me. We kind of went over some basics of the assignment right here and all of that good stuff. Anything else, Alan? Some other questions? Feel free to say hey. And let's see what Alan has to say here. I can take all questions. I'm trying to think what other major tips I would have for this. Start early. Start early. Please start early with the assignment. Do not wait till the night it's due to be like, oh, I'll start it. It was Connor was on here and he was telling everyone to start early. That's the best way to like take each assignment is to like look at it, work on it a little bit and see where you get, all that good stuff. You're welcome so much, Alan. I might head off a little bit early here, but you know, we'll be back and all that good stuff. So let's do a cool ending right here. Let's do it. I'm trying to think what we got going on right now. Oh, I need to show it again. Know your variable types. We got to end with some know your variable types. But we'll be doing this more later today. Know your variable types. And I will see everybody soon. Talk to you later. Bye, everybody. Bye.